So a lot of people have had something to say about this Lil Durk case. Okay, there's basically zero probability that you're watching this channel and you're not aware that Lil Durk is currently facing very serious murder for hire charges. Now, I feel like a broken record, constantly breaking it down, but just so you understand, Lil Durk, he's facing murder for hire charges. Okay, he allegedly slid for Von. He was trying to get revenge for King Von getting killed after the fight with Quando Rondo, where King Von ended up getting shot by Quando's friend Lil Tim. Allegedly, Lil Durk sent the hit squad to Los Angeles, of all places. I mean, pretty dumb place to do a hit, but okay. He allegedly dispatched the hitters to try and take out Quando Rondo. They didn't end up hitting him. They ended up killing his cousin Lil Pab. And it seems like Lil Durk, in one bad decision, threw away 10, 15 years worth of hard work. I mean, Lil Durk was really at the very, 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 very top, the tippy top, the pinnacle, the peak, the tip, if you will, of the rap game. Okay, no, I don't think anybody in Chicago really could ever say got further than him as far as actually making mainstream popular rap music. You know, King Von had all the clout, he had all the bodies, but he wasn't making songs with Drake. Okay, and as far as Chicago goes right now, G Herbo's holding the candle, you know, for the most poppin' Chicago rapper that's not incarcerated. And I love G Herbo's music, but he ain't really got to that Durk level yet, because Durk was singing, he was using the auto-tune, he was really the voice of the streets. And I think a lot of people feel like it's all well and good saying you need to slide for Von, but when he actually slid for Von, now people are clowning him for throwing everything away. So I've been one of the biggest news sources for everything that's going on with the Durk case, right? I've been keeping you guys updated as diligently as I possibly can. I've been giving you my opinion. Some people don't like my opinion, okay? I personally feel like he's cooked, he's in trouble, he's not going to be able to beat these serious charges. And some people don't like that, okay? But I'm keeping it real. The trial's going to be taking place in January, and we're eventually going to get a resolution on this story, okay? But a few more people have popped out to give their opinion on the situation, and today I've just clocked. This kind of passed me by. This was a week ago, but I've just discovered, okay, that one of the most notorious street figures in Chicago who hates Lil Durk hates him, he has actually popped out and given his opinion on the situation. And I'm talking about none other, okay, than the biggest, possibly the biggest op of all time, apart from Big Op in Chicago. I'm talking about FBG Wooski, man. Okay, FBG Wooski. This, I ain't gonna lie. Okay, Durk and this was Durk and Von and all them. This was Wooski was their worst nightmare. Okay, now I could do a whole breakdown, I could do a whole backstory and history of Wooski, okay, but really what you need to know is that he dropped one of the most legendary diss songs in Chicago history, okay, right after King Von got out of jail. Okay, he was planning his little finesse. He was going to start robbing rappers. Before King Von decided to jump in the rap game and become a rapper with Lil Durk's OTF, he was planning on getting around Durk and robbing rappers. Now, I don't know if this is exactly why King Von decided to start making some music, but it was Wooski at the start of 2018 who turned everything up for the GDs. Obviously, Lil Durk and King Von, they're all BDs, Black Disciples. FBG, Wooski, FBG, Durk, all them guys, they're GDs, Gangster Disciples, okay? And unfortunately, the Gangster Disciples have been arguably at a disadvantage in this gang war. Right, for years they was down. They was, you know, I don't even want to condone it, but they was allegedly down on the scoreboard. But Wooski in 2018, man, he popped out with this song, The Computers Remix, and this absolutely turned Chicago upside down. It was one of the most disrespectful diss songs. It was one of the biggest and most sort of like potent moments for the GDs in Chicago to actually have their say and clap back for once. Because I feel like in music, obviously FBG Duck had an enormous legacy in music and the rap game, him clapping back at King Von and all these little back and forths that they had. Ruger, of course, is legendary, but I feel like nobody really frontlined it and came with the same level of disrespect that people like King Von were doing than Wooski. This Computers Remix was one of the most diabolical and disrespectful diss songs ever aimed at the Black Disciple. Like, this song was just absolutely diabolical, okay? He was dissing everyone. He's dissing gangs. He's dissing all the OTF. He's dissing Lamron. He's dissing 600. He's dissing absolutely everybody from everywhere. He's dissing Lil Steve. He's saying, bruh, he's doing a lot in this one. He's saying he's BDK, CPDK, TYMBK. He's trying to K everyone. FO Block, Front Street K, Brick City K, everybody. He's smoking Big A. He's trying to catch Durk. He's saying slide on Newski Day. He's talking about Durk's cousin Newski that got killed. This song was so out of line disrespectful that the BDs really had to do anything in their power to try and stop Wooski. And they nearly did. Okay, they nearly did. You remember that infamous lyric? Okay, you probably know that infamous lyric where they talking about Wooski got shot in the head, he needed medicine. They tried their best to take out Wooski, but look, and this is, I want to say this is no disrespect, but I can't lie. What I'm about to say is maybe just a tiny bit disrespectful by accident. But Wooski is still alive. Okay, they caught him outside this funeral. He ended up getting shot in the head. But Wooski is still alive. King Von is not here, unfortunately. Okay, Lil Durk's facing murder for hire charges. And as much as everybody wanted to clown on Wooski and make fun of him for getting shot in the head, he is actually still outside, okay? And he is actually clapping back. So this is the incident. I don't even know if I got to play this to you, but, you know, there was a shooting outside a funeral. A lot of people think O-Block might have been responsible. And, you know, Wooski ended up getting shot in the head. This was a pretty vicious, just drive-by shooting at a funeral for, I think it was Dusky the Man, you know, another guy from sort of over that side that unfortunately lost his life. So, look. Lil Durk and King Von did everything they possibly could to put down Wooski. They tried to kill him. They tried to put him down. They tried to blackball the GDs from the industry. But really, unfortunately, it didn't work. And now Wooski is having his say. He's clapping back. He's given his opinion. So shout out to Corporate Cartel Media. I'm going to subscribe on the second channel. Shout out to you, man. I'm going to give the video a like. People be getting on my case saying you're not liking the videos when you're watching them. It's fake love. But sometimes I just be forgetting. But we liking Corporate Cartel Media's video. And here you go. You got Wooski. He wearing the gold and black Nike jacket. He low-key dressed like a trophy here, okay? And I wouldn't be the first person to say that, okay? But we got to protect Wooski at all costs, okay? This man is the embodiment of Chicago history. He survived a lot. He's probably got more stories than anybody could ever care to mention. But he's given his opinion on the Durk case. He's keeping it very real. Let's get into what he said, man. Let's get into what he said.
So how you feel about that shit where they like putting the, you know, he got wrapped up in some shit with some murder for hire shit. They saying that he like looking at the death penalty. Like when you see in there, like what's your thoughts on that? That fuck you ever like,
man,
damn.
He smoked his damn self. I don't know what's wrong with him.
He said he smoked his damn self. I don't know what's wrong with him. He's basically saying that Lil Durk threw his life away. He threw his opportunity away. He smoked himself. He ruined his career. He took himself right off of his path that he should have been on. And he's right, man. He is right.
And then that shit blew his own motherfucking head off right there.
Whatever he got going on.
Yeah, he lost his motherfucking head.
He said he blew his own head off. He lost his head. Now, look, man, I can't say that Durk was the one that tried to kill Wooski, but Durk was dissing Wooski a whole bunch over the years, okay? This is Wooski's opportunity to clap back, right? And he deserves his opportunity to clap back for all they tried to kill him. They tried to count him out. They tried to blackball him from the game. And now he's still standing. Yeah, maybe he ain't got the money that Durk's got, but he's got his freedom. He's got priceless things that Durk might not ever be having in his possession for decades, or maybe ever. So you got to let him have his say, man. And he said he took his own head off.
You know, they said telling on him. They was saying that what they said about Shorty. They said was telling on him. They said the feds put out some paperwork there, but they was saying like he put a hit on motherfucker in the old because they don't want to slide for King Von and all that. You seen that shit on the
I seen some shit. Yeah.
What'd you think about that? That was crazy. Or that was like whatever. Like when it crossed your mind, you heard that?
I mean, they killing their damn self. They ass on the top.
He said they're killing their damn selves, and it's true. They're saying in this court paperwork that Lil Durk and them they wanted OTF members to go and kill O-Block members because they weren't sliding for Von. And look, okay. A lot of people say different things about Wooski, okay? But he's keeping it real, all right? He's saying it the best that he can. He's keeping it real, and he's letting people know they taking their own selves out. It's the infighting, okay? And there's all these talks of the O-Block Civil War, all these different things, and unfortunately, that's what's going on. They're taking they're tricking themselves out of position.
Hmm. You think that's like a motherfucker just trying to lie to get out their situation, or you think that it probably could be a possibility, or you don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Because niggas be lying too, you know what I'm saying? They'll tell the feds anything, but if they got messages, they say they have messages too though, so.
Everybody be with their ass, man. They know what's going on. They ass on the top.
They do it different.
They snitching out here.
So OTF Vonnie Daddy, so he was on
So he basically saying, look, these OTF guys, whether it's the O-Block or whoever, he said, look, there's going to be snitches out here. And a lot of people are saying it's over with for Durk. He's going to have people that were right by his side. We're seeing all these redacted sections in the paperwork. He's going to be getting told on hard. This ain't going to be the driver, like the 6ix9ine, the driver wearing a wire. This is the shot callers at the top that you thought were at the top calling these hits with you. it's not gonna fly.
DJU, they was talking about like saying some shit like, you know, Durk supposedly, he even saying some crazy conspiracy theories like Durk paid Lil Tim to do some shit to King Von, allegedly. That's what he said on DJU. Did you see that interview or you don't watch shit like that?
Nah, I ain't see that shit.
Yeah, so he get into he tweaked on that bitch. But okay, so on there, you know what I'm saying, he went into all that. So it's like, what you think about that though? Like if he putting that on the internet and this OTF Vonnie daddy, he on the case. His daddy saying that that Durk paid a hitman to, you know, what you think about if you hear that? That's crazy or not?
They, you know.
That's too much. He said, no, man, I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna gloss over that. All right, I got you, Rob. All right, so let me ask you this. I'm gonna gloss over that. So let me ask you this. DJU. I seen you on DJU a couple times. I see you up there with your brother. You know what I mean? Now, DJU had Young up there. He like kind of.
Now look, okay, there's other stuff he talks about in this interview. We're not going to get into this video. I just want to talk about what was going on with Lil Durk, man. But look, okay, say what you want about Wooski, all right? But this is low key. This is his time to shine. This is his time to clap back, all right? This is his opportunity to basically let fools know, look, you guys tricked yourself out of position. And I feel like Lil Durk looked down on a lot of people. He dunked on a lot of people. He was getting more money than everybody. They was having more money, more guns, more power, more success, more bodies than everybody in the rap game. But that can only last for so long. Somebody's reign at the very top can only last for so long. It's ironic, right? Because I feel like in 2019, 2020, Youngboy was the #1. He was going #1 back to back on albums, right? He had it. King Von and Lil Durk kind of got him out of here. I don't want to say they tricked Youngboy out of position, but really King Von was like, yo, Youngboy, he's acting like he's the Reader Street dude. He's getting all the #1s right now. It's cap. I'm going to put him down. I'm a downplay his thing. And unfortunately, Youngboy ended up catching his gun case. King Von and Lil Durk were just running amok, and they took over the whole rap game. And Lil Durk really had that top spot when it came to drill, street, gangster music, right up until 2025. Even when he got arrested last year, all right? Was it last year or was it the year before? No, it was last year. It was crazy. It was last year because I remember. I feel like Durk had it for another year. Look, some people might be offended by me saying this, but I'm just going to keep it real. I feel like the Durk momentum is going to slow down. He dropped his last album from prison. People said it wasn't the best. There were some slaps on there. But I feel like right now we got Youngboy. Everybody's shining on Youngboy. Youngboy's outside. He's keeping it real. He's a better role model than Durk right now. And I think, unfortunately, what's going to happen is Durk's image is going to be slowly more and more tarnished. And people just aren't going to look at him like that cool kingpin, king of the gangsters, you know, King Von's big bro. People ain't going to look at him like that no more. And a lot more people are going to start looking at Durk like a bit of a crash dummy that threw away his opportunity, that had the best opportunity in the game. And I completely sympathize with the fact that he lost his brother and he lost Von and he felt like he had all these people around him pressuring him to do stuff. Look, he's going to need to throw a Hail Mary at this trial. But right now, I think the shine is the aura has unfortunately left Durk for a minute. Okay, and I would love to hear another album of music. I'm hearing he's getting busy with that Apple Watch. I'm hearing that he's got other things going on. But I think, as we've seen with the other people, I think the Young Thug situation, it's similar in the way that it's causing somebody's aura to decline. It's not similar in the way that I don't think you would ever catch Lil Durk on no 2-hour interrogation video, ever. No chance, all right? But what I think is happening, the same way that when Young Thug went to jail, it kind of went the opposite way. When Young Thug caught these charges, a lot of people were like, wait a minute, he really about that? A lot of people didn't really realize when I did the video about him and the YFN beef, the YSL versus YFN beef, I called it Atlanta's Secret Gang War because I felt like it was a pretty well hidden secret at that point, okay? The secret got out. He went to trial. He fortunately came home. It's like that aura kind of disappeared once we heard that interrogation tape because he was pressing the line. He was big King Slime. He was big gangster. He's hating everybody else being a snitch. But then come to find out he had done something that was quite similar, if not worse, than the people that he was calling out for being a snitch. I think that the Lil Durk situation, it's similar but different. I think that Lil Durk, we were seeing him as this kingpin. We were seeing him as this genius, the voice. He was the voice of the streets. He was knowing how to move. And for a minute, it looked like, hey, anyone he had a problem with was winding up dead, winding up hurt, or losing their motion. He was blackballing fools. Even Youngboy. He had Youngboy down bad when Durk was dropping his album back to back with Youngboy. I love those Youngboys out. You know, those Youngboy albums. They were hard. But, you know, what was it? Don't Try This at Home and what was it? Richest Op. Those albums were fire, but they weren't accepted and beloved in the industry and on the charts like the Lil Durk projects were. Because Lil Durk just had that shine. Lil Durk had that aura. But there's really only one crown in town, honestly, because G Herbo ain't doing Durk's numbers, and I fucks with G Herbo, but he ain't doing those. He ain't got the same aura. There's only one crown in town, and right now, Youngboy's got it. Okay, and Durk ain't gonna be able to get it. If Durk beats this case and he comes back outside and he's back on the street nonsense, talking all that same stuff in his songs as he was talking before, he might get that crown back. And I'm not saying that's the best thing that would happen. Honestly, I feel like we need to see justice for Lil Pap. But yeah, right now it's looking bad. And when you've got guys like Wooski popping out, just look, he ain't even say too much, right? It is what it is. But like, even the fact that he can pop out and fire little pot shots off like this off unanswered for, that weren't happening. That weren't running a couple of years ago. It weren't possible. You weren't seeing a Wooski pop out with a couple thoughts for Lil Durk, because Lil Durk had the streets on lock. Okay, and they tried to hurt Wooski before, so I think this is really interesting. I think it's just like an interesting moment. I'm going to keep you guys updated on anything else that goes on with the Durk situation. I was going to talk about that $12 million lawsuit that he won, but I feel like that was kind of not really that interesting and not even necessary as real or as much of a big deal as maybe people were making out. But I do think Wooski even popping out and just having anything to say about Durk, I think it shows a different level of confidence. I think that Wooski was still about when Durk was on road, but it's like the fact that people are out here, you know, having their little pot shots and having a little chuckle at his expense, that wasn't running a couple of years ago. So I think that Lil Durk, obviously he's fighting for his life and his freedom right now, but also I think, you know, it's going to be a hard lesson to learn that, you know, it's kind of like an emperor has no clothes moment. Like when we seeing you down bad, we seen you throw away your opportunity. Like the voice only works when you're at the top. And yeah, street stuff was happening behind the scenes and people was respecting that, but at the same time, you know, it might be over with as far as people looking at Durk as that guy, as the big dog, as the voice. Like really right now, he ain't the voice. Like Youngboy's the voice right now. He's the voice of the streets. And look, I don't know if I'm allowed to even say it, the abbreviation, but this is what other people are saying, the YNs in the culture. That's sort of like a colloquial term for just like all the youth in the culture that are loving this music. Youngboy's the GOAT right now. Youngboy's the king, and there's going to be new generations of young kids. Like even G Herbo said it in an interview. His kids are all listening to Youngboy. His young kids, they all want to be Youngboy. Okay, and all the kids that wanted to be Durk a few years ago, they're growing up and they're seeing how this situation ends up playing out. So that's just my analysis on it. That's Wooski's analysis on it. I hope you found that interesting. I'll catch you guys in the next video, and I got a few more interesting things loading up. I really appreciate everyone enjoying the 6ix9ine video. There's a few things from that you haven't seen yet, and I'm going to drop the full-length video on my main channel very soon. Also, just a side note, if anyone can work out, I don't know if you can see it, but I've changed cameras. My camera's been mad jittery. If anyone knows how to fix my jittery camera in OBS, please let me know, because I've been desperately trying to fix this problem. Anyway, catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here. Peace.